Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the workshop. It is fantastic to have you today. Today, we're working on part 11 of the sword breaker. We're getting into it. This is really kind of episode 5 because we broke the original sword breaker blade in episode 6. So before we get into the video, I'd like to thank today's sponsor, which is this mug. They are now available on the site, the Forge Your Smile. This design was done for me by Alec's fiance after I shattered my Forge Your Die mug. I've been using it for a couple months now. It holds coffee really well, not to mention it's quite stylish. So those are now on alecsteelshop.com. Make sure to go check them out, pick up a mug or two. What we've got planned for today is more handle work, believe it or not. We've got to go ahead and make up the pommel that's gonna hold the whole piece together. We're gonna thread the end of this tang here. In yesterday's episode, we did the final fit of the guard and of the handle, so they fit together nice and snug now, but now I need that end cap to sit on there. Now, we had done up a design a while ago, and we were planning on making it a 3-piece construction, so we could add some fluting into the middle of the pommel, but I'm a lot more attracted to a single piece construction idea right now, so I'm gonna go ahead, get out a piece of paper and a pencil, and I'm just gonna see if I can draw something that I like more than the fluted idea. Something that will be a little bit easier to take on, but still look really nice. Let's go ahead and get into that. Alright, we've got the design for the pommel finished up. A little bit simpler design, no fluting in it. It's going to be a single piece. I'm going to do some background removal, some gold inlay on it. Should look really sweet. It's time to go ahead and throw a chunk of steel in the fire. Same kind of steel that we used on the guard. So it'll glue a very consistent way with the guard. We're going to go ahead, break down the edges on it, round it out a little bit before we chuck it up in the lathe and turn down the pommel. Alright, so we've got that pommel turned down now. We've got that hole threaded with tapped? We've got that hole tapped and threaded with M4 thread, which is a metric thread. And it's now time to go ahead and thread the end of this tang so that we can set this pommel on there, get it screwed down tight, and then we'll go ahead, take some more meat off of the handle block in there so we have a little bit better idea of exactly what we're working with. And then we're gonna go ahead and do a little bit of work on the pommel and ovalize it, because right now it is round. Obviously it just came off the lathe. And we need to make this thing an oval so it'll fit the rest of the handle shape a little bit better. So threading, grinding, those are the next couple steps. Let's do it. Look at that. We've got ourselves one-handled sword breaker. Now, before I jump into doing the ovalization, I realize that I have quite a few steps before I can make that happen. Because this thing is threaded on there, the clocking is the indexing, so kind of where it sits on there, which it doesn't matter right now because it's round, but once it's ovalized, it's going to be a really big deal if it's sitting in the wrong direction, which means that before I can touch the ovalization process there, I need to completely finish out the handle, including the fluting and the wire wrapping. So it's going to be a minute before we move on to ovalizing out that pommel, because I think it's going to take a second to do that complicated wire wrap. The wire will end up wrapping up over the end of this handle, which means that it's going to affect where this sits, which is why we have to do the wire wrap before we do the indexing there. Alright guys, the handle is looking pretty dang sweet right now. I just got off the phone with my mentor Salem Straub, who does a lot of wire wraps and dagger handles, very similar to how we're planning on doing it here. Really thankful to him. He's been a great resource for this sort of thing. So I ordered some iron wire because the stuff that we have in the shop right now just isn't the right size. It's way too thick. So we ordered some 28 gauge iron wire, which is really small. Should be here by the end of the week, kind of hopefully. But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and slim down this handle this way with a hand file, really tune in that profile to where we want it. Alright guys, we got that handle slimmed down. It's looking pretty dang nice. It's now time to bed the Tang. Now, I carved out that Tang slot a little bit big so that we could do this. So what you do is, because there's a little bit of play in there, we're going to go ahead and fill all of those gaps with epoxy. Now you're thinking, Will, won't you just be gluing up the handle and you'll never be able to take it apart? No, because we're going to cover the guard, the Tang, and any contacting surfaces on the pommel in a thin layer of paste wax. So, once the epoxy is set, all you have to do is heat up one of these parts. The paste wax melts a little bit and you can pop them all apart. It works fantastically well. I believe that Nick Wheeler is the bladesmith who made this technique popular. Super widely used, really great technique, so thank you, Nick, for that. We're gonna go ahead and get ready to do that now. Well, that's it for today's episode, guys. I really appreciate you following along. Make sure to go check out any of the episodes that you missed before this. This was part 11, and we will probably be going into triple digits on this build because we're not even close to finishing. No, hopefully we'll get it wrapped up soon. It's going to be a lot of fun to get the wire wrap, the fluting, to see the Damascus. It's going to be a good time. Did I mention the gold inlay? I don't think I did. There's going to be quite a bit of gold in this thing. It's going to be a pretty sweet project when it's all finished up. So make sure to subscribe, hit that notification button so you can follow along as fast as possible with this pretty slow build so far, but things are going to be heating up here in a minute as we start making more and more progress. Also, make sure to go check out these swell mugs that we've got. Aren't they just swell? I think they are. I like forging and I like smiling, so if you do too, then have a look at these mugs because they're good. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you later. Bye bye.